Hello, my name is Marcus Hines, and I'm presenting today a PowerPoint presentation over entrepreneur interview. Getting down to business. My interview was covered of a businessman of the name of Chase Matthews. He runs a company called Anime Designed T-Shirts, and our interview was conducted March 3rd, 2017. Mr. Matthew was gracious enough to hold an over the phone interview with me and to share his experiences, how he founded the business, his ideas, the operations of the business, and he shared some tidbits to help future entrepreneurs who are looking maybe to start their own businesses. First slide is funding the business. I asked Mr. Matthews, how did he acquire his beginning capital? How did he recoup the funds to start the business? And his reply was very interesting. He told me it costed him next to nothing to start his business. The only thing he had to do was pay for a website, which was very interesting. We all know that most businesses cost, depending on what it is, a significant amount of money. I will explain the reason why in another slide, operations of the business, when I asked him what kind of services that he does provide. Our next slide is a concept for the business. Basically, how did he get started? I posed the question to him, what was the beginning? How did he come up with the ideas to begin his own business? And he told me that he wanted his own piece of the American pie. He always, since he was little, he always wanted to own his own business. His aunt owned her own business, and he wanted to be just like her. Because he hung around her. She kind of taught him a little bit of the ropes. He loved anime, and he said he was good with computers. So he needed to find a way to marry the two, but just didn't know how. I think one day his brother-in-law had started his own online business. And he thought about Chase because he knew Chase was Mr. Matthews was very well versed with computers and the internet and programs. So he kind of told Mr. Matthews about what he was doing and how he operated his business. Thought that it would be a good fit for him. So he kind of showed him the ropes, gave him some materials, some training materials, and he just kind of let him go on from there. And that's when Mr. Matthews thought, I can do this. I just have to find. I want to sell shirts, graphic anime shirts, and I just need somebody to do that and just kind of sell that, build my own website, retail through the website, and go from there. Our next slide is operations of the business, and this is where you kind of your products and your services. What is your business sell, and how does it go about selling those services? And which I asked Mr. Matthews what kind of service did his business provide? And the way he explained it to me, and of course, like I said before, he sold graphic anime T-shirts and phone accessories, phone holders, little screens that you can also have through little anime graphic designs of your choice. The way his business operates is through a method called drop shipping. And I'll explain a little bit what that is to my understanding. So Mr. Matthews generates traffic through his website. That somebody will, when they come to his website, they can just kind of wander through it, the way it's designed to kind of pick out your sizes, what kind of anime graphics, that's kind of tailored to you that you like, and colors, and of course, like the phone accessories. And what they do is so they pick out their order and they send the money to Chase, which Mr. Matthews does is that he has a China manufacturer who he goes to, who basically who actually own the shirts, creates them. He takes the client's money. Let's say he charges, the Chinese manufacturer may charge $10 for it. He charges $25. So he ups the price. So he takes the $10 from the $25, buys the shirt, and has the manufacturer ship the product directly to the customer, and he keeps the $15 profit. And that's basically how drop shipping works. You basically buy an item from another vendor, and you just mark up the price and you sell, and you keep the difference. And that's why he was able to not really have any capital at the beginning, because it's kind of its own. It kind of runs itself in that way. Our next slide is over advertisement. Most businesses have to, if you want to be successful, to advertise your products, whether it be through mail, online ads, commercials, word of mouth. So I asked Mr. Matthews, how did he advertise his business? And he's told me he usually he has a Facebook page that directly links to his online business, and he goes and details some of his I guess his mission statement and the products that he's selling on there. And he also does a podcast. He has a podcast, anime, that he uploads to iTunes, that he does with a friend. And he kind of plugs in his business from there. So I thought that was pretty neat. He's using today's technology with social media, which people are pretty knowledgeable now and use nowadays. And our next slide is over advice and future plans. I asked Mr. Matthews what kind of words of wisdom did he have for someone looking into becoming an entrepreneur, owning their own business. He basically said, find a good mentor, somebody to kind of show you the ropes, so you can avoid pitfalls along the way. And also after that, I did ask him what did he see his business growing any further than the current status. He definitely did say that he wanted to expand the business. If a business is doing good, he stated that it's going to naturally evolve. It's kind of hard to keep it in its same form when it's growing. It's kind of like, you're blowing up a balloon full of oxygen. You keep pumping it full of oxygen, it's naturally just going to expand. You can't stop it, because if you try to contain it, it's going to burst. And without any plans on where to go, the business will burst and kind of get out of hand. So I thought that was pretty cool, Mr. Matthews' analogy. So this becomes to the end of our interview. I just kind of asked Mr. Matthews. Well, the thing that I took from the interview was definitely finding someone to kind of show you the ropes of the business. I think trying to start something from the ground up can be very difficult and very strenuous, time consuming, without a roadmap of any kind. I think you'll not necessarily fail, but it will take longer to achieve the goals you set out to achieve. So definitely having a mentor, I think, was a good piece of advice that Mr. Matthews gave, and I definitely will take and implore anybody else looking into starting their own business. And thank you.